All right, let me do this one. Are we going?
Yeah, shoot, right.
Hello, everybody. First, I want to thank you for volunteering to do this job. I have a feeling it's pretty overwhelming, and I'll try not to waste your time tonight. I'm Mac Duncan. I'm the current president of the Board of Directors of Sandy Creek Nature Center, Incorporated. Here with me tonight is Mark Ralston. He's a former president, and he's also the current chair of our long-range planning committee. And Randy Smith, the facility supervisor, is here as well, and they've been associated with the Nature Center much longer than I have, and if you ask some tough questions, I will defer to them. Or pretend I know the answer. We're a nonprofit. It was formed in 1973. We built the Nature Center, and we operated it until 1981. In 1981, we turned it over to the county, and since then, we've been actively supporting the Nature Center by volunteering, by advocacy, and by fundraising, like the $30,000 we're pledging to this project. Our mission statement's really short, and I'd like to read it to you. SCNC Inc., a private nonprofit organization, partners with Athens-Clarke County to support, promote, and protect the environmental education and preservation efforts of Sandy Creek Nature Center. We work to ensure that natural science and environmental education opportunities are available to everyone in our local and regional community. So that's what this project addresses: science, environment, education, community. The Nature Center's a regional environmental education facility. There's no charge for admission. It's accessible to everyone. We have over 60,000 visitors a year, including Clarke County Elementary School students who visit every other year starting in the first grade for 3 years, first, third, fifth grade. Homeschools and private schools also use the facility. Summer camps, public programs, birthday parties, races. We've got lots of people coming to the Nature Center. We're also ADA accessible, very ADA accessible, including a boardwalk through the forest. We're also one of TripAdvisor's top 10 tourist destinations in Athens. And we're accessible from the Greenway, North Oconee Greenway. We're the northern terminus of that right now. And with the upgrades on the Greenway, we expect to have a bunch more people visiting us. So what are we requesting? Well, for starters, we're not asking for as many decimal places as you've been looking at. We're only asking for $308,000. This $308,000 will be used to modernize our two oldest exhibits in our Interactive Learning Center. These exhibits, they educate about our coastal environments and our wetland environments. They're still serviceable, but they're outdated. Magic fingers here. So why do we need it? The wetland and coastal exhibits are now 15 and 20 years old. This is the typical industry standard for an exhibit of this nature. By the time these SPLOST 2020 funds come available, will be even older and outdated. Both exhibits are kind of flat. They're kind of static. They're darker and less inviting than the other exhibits, the newer exhibits that we have. The newer exhibits are just more inviting. just as importantly, we want to update the message. We want to talk about such things as plastic pollution, sea level rise, habitat and species loss. And we want to tie these things to ACC priorities such as recycling, stormwater control, and watershed protection. These are important messages that the county wants to and needs to communicate. People, especially children, don't learn the way they did 20 years ago. They're more accustomed to interactive technology being an integral part of their learning experience. Our proposed updates will bring the coastal and the wetland exhibits in line with our more recent exhibits. And our intent is for them to match or exceed their level of interactivity and messages. We also need to update the back room, the back side of these exhibits. What you see isn't everything that's involved. Behind the scenes, we're pumping water, we're heating water, we're filtering water, we're conditioning the air. It's also where the animals are fed. That's where the plants are taken care of. Replacing and upgrading some of this equipment will actually result in some cost savings, operational cost savings. We anticipate savings of $2,000 a year over the life of the project. 20 years, 25 years, you're talking $40,000, $50,000. So when you add that to the $30,000 we're throwing in, actually this project's going to save the county about $100,000. So we believe the project's timely. We think it's a high impact project and it's low cost. It enhances our ability to educate. It enhances the appeal of Athens-Clarke County as a destination, and it reduces our operating costs. This slide shows the newer portion of our interactive learning center, and it's truly interactive. There are lots of moving parts, things that children especially can touch and explore. Updating the message as well as creating this level of interactivity is what we're striving for in this project. Also, I want to remind you again, we're pledging $30,000 to this project, putting our money where our mouth is. So I ask you to consider the timeliness of this project, as well as what I'd call bang for the buck. It's a relatively inexpensive project that will impact a large, diverse portion of our community. I hope you'll approve this project. Thank you. Questions?
I'd like to start out with a quick anecdote to talk about the exhibits and the impressions they make. We're talking about the coastal exhibit in particular being kind of flat and not as engaging. When kids come into the exhibit hall, their eyes are instantly drawn to the new exhibits. They'll walk in, they'll look at the sea turtle swimming in that 2,000-gallon aquarium. If they go back behind into that little alcove where the rest of the exhibit is, there's a plaque up on the wall they can read. There's a model of a sea turtle. They can look at the eggs that she's bearing, and they're done. And that's it. That's the whole piece for them. They're off to look at something else. What we want is for the kids to walk in there and not just go, look, that's cool, but look, that's cool, to the exhibit that we're trying to upgrade. It's a fine piece. It was great in 1998 when we put it in. It now needs to be lifted to another level. We don't want the Nature Center to get stale and for people to go, oh, been there, done that. Then the message that we want to communicate, that Athens-Clarke County wants to communicate, doesn't get across to people. And that's why we need the help of SPLOST to try to bring these exhibits up to 2020 standards.
I mean, I think we're all quiet because we probably value your facility a tremendous amount. I've been there a bunch. My kids are getting older, so I'm probably not gonna go, 7 times a year like I have been, but it's a great place.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We do like a decimal system.
What'd you say, Dad?
I said we do like a decimal.
$300,000 is fine.